Yo, okay, it's the third video of the day. Same shirt. I shot all three videos in the shirt, but I don't care. So, okay, look, this video is about something pretty interesting. So, the point of this video is this: guys got to understand something because it's very crippling. Better yet, in a lot of situations, in a lot of cases for us as men, and that is that emotional intelligence doesn't just because you have emotional intelligence, it does not equal that you have game. I gotta, I'm pulling the rug from under a lot of cats right now, man, because y'all tripping. Listen, man, you go, oh, I deal with people every day. I'm a police officer. I know how to read people. Okay, yeah, you might. Well, I'm a businessman. I'm a CEO. I deal with people every day. I know, but okay, all right, whatever. You know, I'm a manager at a company. I deal with a whole staff of people, men and women. Okay, yeah, right. So let me explain a huge difference in all three of those examples. Yeah, are you insightful to a degree? Yep. Do you learn to deal with people? Yep. Can you read people? Yep. But you know something that you don't that's not the key about those situations. Your A priority is not the other person's emotions. Your A priority is taking care of whatever the particular business may be. You know, if you're a CEO, you're like, well, I have to kind of do what's best and average across stuff to get things to where they are so we can continue doing things as we should be in a company. You're not like, oh, well, this person felt sad today, so I had to, really put that as a A part. You don't do that, I mean, and don't even front like you do because you don't. Your primary objective is the overall goal, which is whatever the company's trying to accomplish, and you making sure that it basically comes to fruition. As a cop, it's the same thing. You don't walk out and say, "Oh, I gotta be the best officer I can," and that I have to consider everybody's feelings, and everything I do is predicated upon the fact that I want to make sure that I understand. You don't do that. You're out there saying, this person might be stealing, or this guy looks like he might be a murderer. That's what you do as a cop. Or you might say, I think this guy might have an expired license. That's what you do as a cop. You reading the stuff like that. But a lot of times, again, like the CEO or the manager, you're looking at your bottom line is your primary objective. You're not concerned about people's feelings or even how people feel about what you're doing necessarily. To a degree, you might, but not to where it's a point where it's one of the a deal breaker type of deal. Same thing as a cop. You're out here trying to accomplish a particular objective. So you might be able to read people and situations, but it's not the same as reading a relationship. Why you think a lot of these dudes that are managers, CEOs, cops, even people who are like stars and have money and stuff, none of these things equal emotional intelligence. But these are three examples of like the cop, the CEO, and the manager. You're not you don't have game. Just because you know how to be able to tell when someone's being, you know, or displaying unscrupulous behavior does not mean you have game. It doesn't. You aren't even close to having game. And that's the problem is a lot of dudes will see that and they think they know, oh man, this and this and that. Oh no, because women that you're doing it wrong, bro. Let me look at my little thing. I wrote down some stuff. Okay, so you a lot of times in situations like that, your general formula is this: logic, emotion, to logic. So you're like, well, I'm thinking that this person feeling this way might make them do this. And that's it, because you're like, you're thinking, you know, and then you consider their emotion and how their emotion, what type of logic their emotion will produce, right? Like if you got an adversary on the street, yo, this dude's upset about blah, 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 blah. We're like, man, we need to, I don't know, we need to make sure that, these people don't get us. All right, so I'm thinking this person's feeling like this. So based upon that, I think he's gonna make this type of decision or choice. You know, you don't do that in relationships. You know, I mean, you sometimes you have to function within the realm of emotions because you have to remember in a lot of cases the person. Okay, in a relationship, the woman she's on par with you cognitively and mentally and all that stuff. But the primary or the crux of a situation is the fact that she is not like you. Women are like you up to a certain point, but when it comes to emotions and relationships and stuff, it's not the same. That's how come you could say something to a woman, like a woman will tell you something, you but like you'll say something to her expressing disapproval or disagreeing with something she's feeling, which is fine, but I mean, here we go. Here's a nuance with that. That someone that's a cop or a CEO or a business manager doesn't have to deal with. She expresses a feeling, and then you have to, when your rebuttal can make or break a situation. You can say something to her. You can express that you don't agree, or that you did that, or that you don't necessarily feel the same. And the way that you say it to her can make her feel like, oh, you don't respect. Oh, you're saying this stuff happened. This has happened. Oh, you're saying what I'm. You're saying my feelings are stupid. And then next thing you know, here you go, falling back on your man logic. No, no. And then you've already opened up a can of worms. And see, this is what happens when you think you know. Oh, no, 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 no. She this and she that. You're sitting here trying to backpedal because you said something stupid because you thought you knew and you didn't know. When what you should have done was recognize that you probably weren't, you know, equipped to deal with this. But a lot of guys do this. They get themselves into situations with girls. I'm getting a little heated because I just get sick of this. A lot of guys get themselves into situations with girls, and unfortunately, they think they know. And what do? They shoot themselves in the foot, or they make a situation worse, or their girl leaves them. And then the dummies double down. I can't believe this. They're all mad and stuff. And it's like the only one you got to look at is yourself because you were too busy thinking you knew. And then what happened is you went into a situation thinking you knew when really you didn't know. And then you're wondering why things didn't go. Why? Because you don't have any game, bro. Because you don't work to understand women. And I don't mean understand women like all women want money. All women, not like that. I mean work to understand women, to understand that feelings are one of the most important things that exists in a woman's life. When you work to make it to where a woman feels something, a good thing, then these are the things that bring you favor in a woman's life. And here's another crux of a situation. You don't do it when you're trying to exploit her, or you don't do it when you're trying to trick her, trying to control her, because these three things you can't do anyway. You can delude yourself again, like the guy a couple seconds ago, thinking he knows what he's doing when he's replying to something his girl does or says or feels, and then messes himself up. You can think that you know and mess yourself up. Yeah, go ahead. But the crux of a situation is understanding that a woman's feelings are, in a lot of regards, I wouldn't say what defines them, but so much of what they do are predicated by that. Feelings in a woman are so strong, to where it don't even make sense to us as men, which is exactly why you have to be very careful. It's not about like, I gotta walk on the eggshells. No, but what you do need to do is be familiar. And when you become familiar, things get easier. It's like dealing with little children. Women aren't kids, although there are a lot of similarities you can look at when a man dealing with a woman is the same as an adult dealing with a child. Why? Because there are certain aspects that you have to take into consideration that you normally don't, right? A kid wants ice cream for dinner. To you, you're like, this is the stupidest thing ever, but the kid don't understand that. And it's not for the kid to understand because they're a kid. That's why you're the adult. You have to do what you have to do to make the situation right. And what do? You take their feelings and their way of seeing things into consideration. And then you also take yours and then you put it together and you make the best decision, or you devise the best play that's going to be good for everybody going forward, right? Or you say, well, I need to do like this because even though the child feels this way about it, they'll change how they feel. I know this is what's best. It's kind of like when the parent spanks their child. I gotta spank their kid. They're not gonna like me. Dumbest shit ever. No, you don't spank your kid. They're really not gonna like you because later they're gonna be like, how come you never taught me these things when they're old enough to understand that you were supposed to instill these things in them? Then when they're old enough to be able to make decisions, they'll be like, you never taught me this. You never taught me how to manage money. You never taught me to be respectful. You never taught me, that I had to strive to have a good work ethic. And then later it comes back and bites you and them in the ass. Same thing happens with your woman. It's like guys get mad at women for just being women. You can't do that. But your logic is going to sit there and question everything she does, and you want to break down and you want to logic her emotions. And when you try to reverse engineer from a logical standpoint her feelings, and her emotions and her moods, this is why dudes say women are hard to understand. They're hard to understand because you're trying to understand them, dummy. Stop trying to understand women. Accept them as they are. And understand that in dealing with them, you have to A, B, C. That's all you got to do. You don't got to figure, like, a lot of times women will do things, guys say, that's because, and I don't understand. Nigga, nobody cares. It's not about understanding. Is she rocking with you or she's not? Understand if she's not rocking with you, then you got to get out of there. You don't got, excuse me, you don't got to deal with that. That's all you need to understand. You don't be like, well, you did this because guys want to sit here and break every single thing down, lecturing their girl. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? See, this is because, nigga, she don't care. I told you before, stop lecturing your woman. Work to understand how women work. Work to understand how you have to bring yourself to situations when you deal with women and things will get better. I'm saying the N word a lot, but I don't care. Nigga, listen, ask me how I know because I've been that guy before. Lecturing women and telling them about themselves and I'm gonna jumping on her case and dissecting everything she does and expressing disapproval. And bro, women don't want to hear any of that shit. They want you to be a man, and when you're a man, I mean, not lying to them, being consistent, being understanding, you know what I'm saying? Working with them, you know what I'm saying? Guiding her along lovingly, you know what I'm saying? With strength, you know what I'm saying? And firmness, you know what I'm saying? And checking her in a kind but firm way when necessary. When you do these things to cultivate the respect that you should have between you and her, then her will automatically follow that. Let me look at my next one. I got kind of onto that. Okay, kind of saying the same thing I said again. Your protocol of reasoning, this is the third other thing I was going to put. Your protocol of reasoning is a man's reasoning. And you can't be like, well, I reason like this, so no. Women do the same thing to us, though. They think that we see things the way that they see them, and we think that they see things the way that we see them. But in this case, you're the man, you're supposed to lead. So you have to be aware, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, I mean, a lot of times you're looking at it from a man's perspective, from a man's standpoint. You can't just throw that onto a woman like, oh, well, because of this and that. Sometimes she don't understand that, you know what I'm saying? Like because she's got a logic and it's interleaved with her emotions. You know, like I said, as a man, you go logic, emotion, logic. A woman is logic and emotion in cases like this simultaneously. Can a woman be absolute logic? Absolutely. But in situations when she's with a man she loves or a man that she's sexually involved with or a man that she just has a desire for, those feelings are right there on par with what she's thinking. So, you know, women sometimes can be all over the place. That's another thing guys get mad. She this and she that, she that. Calm down. Look, let me give you a quick example of what happened to me just this morning. There's this girl I was dating. We got along good, kissed her on the first date, all the stuff. Shit was great. I'm like, man, I'm thinking me and this girl gonna kind of get some shit popping. We were supposed to go out on a second date again, you know what I'm saying? Cool. I was like, yeah, meet me here this time. Cool. Every shit was dope. Day before we went out, she sent me this big long text. Oh, I just don't think, you know, I really like you and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, right now I'm just like, you ain't got to explain shit to me. Okay, you know? I wasn't like, why'd you say this? And you told me we were going to go out and you agreed. Nigga, stop. You know? But I didn't do that. I just was, when she sent me that, I said, all right, cool. I said, hey, you know what? Do what you got to do. But I reiterated because I know I'm a dope motherfucker. I said, listen. I said, you do what you got to do. And when you're ready, you'll find your way back to me. I mean, it's cool. I'm like, I don't trip about stuff. You do what you got to do. To me, I know either she's got something going on with another dude or she, you know, there's all kind of stuff. But I'm saying women can be back and forth. Like, you know, I already know she likes me. I don't have to be like, well, I wonder the woman likes me. You know, the woman likes me. I know she does. I like her too, though. I mean, I ain't fronting. And she liked the way that we got along, so everything was right. But, you know, sometimes women will have situations where they get cold feet. But my point in saying you all this is that a man's reasoning is like, well, if you told me this, then why that? You can't do that to women, man. That's just going to frustrate you and make you upset and get you to the point where you're constantly trying to... What it really is it's another form of projecting. The light's getting bright in the back. I thought I cut the shades out, but nonetheless... It's just you projecting. You're projecting your way of seeing things as a man on her. And that's not, you can't do that. You got to allow women space to be women. That's what, you know, there's a lot of nuances and there's a lot of fine lines in dealing with women. But you know, the key of the situation, and that is when you deal with them more and you encounter this more, like anything, you become more proficient. That's really the truth. Guys talk, they got all these stupid, oh, I got a pickup line. And Nigga, listen. The only way to get good with dealing with women is by dealing with women. Get up off your ass, get out there, go talk to women. Ain't nothing wrong with messing up. I mean, don't catch a charge of anything you know you shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean when I say that, you know. But it could be okay for a woman to be like, "Ew, get away from me," or it could be okay if a situation where a woman is not feeling you, and shit just might not go the way you want. That shit's all okay. It's to be expected. I'm trying to deal with the fact that the sun start is really shining through a lot, but I'm not gonna stop this video. I'm just gonna keep going. The lights probably all crazy, but you just have to continue, working and moving forward, and eventually things will start to kind of make sense. You start to pick up on cues and clues and stuff, and then so will start your you're being able to cultivate and employ actual game in a lot of what you do. You know what I'm saying? But you got to start somewhere. So bringing it all to a close, it don't matter how much emotional intelligence you have. It don't matter how good you are at being able to sniff out criminals and make business deals and make productivity and all this stupid shit. That's not a relationship, man. And that's not a situation where emotions are, again, like I said a little while ago on the video, an a priority. So you have to understand, man. You have just the same way that all of us, like, who are not cops or CEOs or managers, because I'm none of that shit, but I'm pretty good with women because I've taken the time to learn. So regardless of how well you may think you may be, even if you're a therapist, I'm gonna step to that either. Also, a therapist is not even to do a game. Why? Because he's used to dealing with feelings and emotions and even care about them. Yep, but guess what he does? He tries to quantify any and everything. He takes those emotions and he goes emotion. I mean, he goes logic. No, he just goes emotion, um, logic, emotion. I mean, but it's usually it's a string. It's still interleave logic and emotion. I'd say it's more like, yeah, emotion, just emotion to logic. Yeah, that's what he does. Emotion to logic instead of logic, emotion, logic. He goes emotion, logic because the logic is him giving you an assessment. Well, you told me you feel like this, and so he's quantifying everything, and at the end of it, he comes up with an emotional tally. That's been concluded to based upon his schooling and his rationalization. So again, just because he can go from and take emotion and come up with a logical decision, unlike a relationship, you don't go emotion and logic. You can in some cases, but overall, you have to understand there's not always going to be explicit logic and understanding everything with a woman. You have to understand that sometimes it shit just is that way, and you have to accept it and deal with it and figure out how to maneuver and move through that situation or that circumstance, and in a way where you're not doing anything damaging to her, yourself, or their relationship. This is the shit I'm talking about, and this is the shit it takes work to cultivate. All right, y'all. I kind of went off a little bit on this, but this is a. I mean, I could talk even longer about this. I just kind of gave 3 loose examples, to kind of to base what I talked about and what I said upon. So, all right, remember, y'all, be the man because you are the man. Okay, be the man because you are the man. And I'm gonna say it one more time. Emotional intelligence absolutely does not equal that you have game. Not even close. So, all right, man, like, share, subscribe. Let's get more people on, onto this game, man. All right, y'all have a good one. Peace.